Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. First, we're going to do what I would consider a simple card. It doesn't use a lot of products. Simple does not mean ugly or looking like it was, made by your child. You can make a simple card and have it be beautiful. This is DSP that we have. And of course, it's got some, not embossed, but it's got gold on it, gold foil, which makes it just absolutely, well, there's my alarm. Makes it absolutely beautiful. So the name of the DSP is actually already was in our old one. It's called Nature's Sweetness. And they're carrying it over, which they almost never do. When you see next week's video, it will be in the new catalog. So that's awesome. And basically what I did was the first level, or first layer. And again, I have this over on my website. If you go to stampmesilly.com, go to the freebies, there'll be a card size list and you can print it out so you have it. So I'm using the first level or first layer, I'm having a hard time talking apparently, is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a project sheet also on my website, and it gives you all of the measurements, both for the simpler card and the one that's stepped up, which I'll show you later. So I cut that out, and then I also cut out a pebbled path the exact same size. So it's on top of it. And then I took another piece of DSP and I cut this piece out. So there's this layer, the pebbled path underneath that what shows here, and then this layer is 2 by 3 1/4, and it has to be in portrait mode. If you'll notice when you look at it's handwriting, so obviously you don't want it upside down and you don't want it sideways, so make sure you're paying attention if you use that particular piece. But then, so that's the insert of that. So that's the second piece. And then I took a piece of pebbled path for the sentiment, which is 4 by 1 1/4. And I'm not showing you how I put this together because it's simple layering. On the A2 card, first you put the pebbled path and then this right on top of it. They're the same size. And then you put this piece on it. I'm going to show you how to cut out this center piece, and also I'm going to emboss to show you the more stepped up version. So these are just some that I did. Same layout, just elevated and used wild wheat as a color for thanks. This particular thanks is part of, and I have it over on my desk. Hang on. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can also purchase this Thanks and Beyond dies for $12. It's very inexpensive. Again, it's only for Paper Pumpkin, and everything that's in here matches a whole quarter or 3 different Paper Pumpkin kits. The first one was in April, which it's too late to sign up for that one. That one's called Delicate Wings. Wonder what that's all about. And then it will also match the May and June. So you can go to my website, go to Paper Pumpkin from my website and sign up, and you can either do it 1 or 2 or 3. I suggest that you put in your credit card, and then if you want to cancel it next month, just cancel it. Rather than prepaid, which charges you more for shipping. It's just the way it works. They're going to be bringing Paper Pumpkin into our website, which will help improve that. But anyway, so you can only purchase this if you're part of the Paper Pumpkin crew, and it'll be good for the April, May, and June. Let me put this away. If you have any questions, you can email me at jandufour@yahoo.com. .com. If you want to purchase anything, you can go to jandufor.stampinup.net. And that's all also on my website. It's Stamp Me Silly. So you can do that, or as I did with the simpler one, I used kindest expressions, used thanks so much, put it on a 4 by 1.5, stamped it and put it on there. So that made that a rather simple card because I didn't use a lot of supplies. The difference here is I did it exactly the same way with layers, and I just used a die cut and cut out thanks, and I elevated it on dimensionals. I'm going to put them all out here because they're just really pretty. I did the same thing here, only I put some pebbled path behind it. And here you can see the layers a little bit more. But this is not cut out. This is different layers. So there's the A2 card, the DSP, the pebbled path, and then this on top. You are wasting the underneath part of the DSP, which is what I'm going to be showing you. Here's another one. I used a simple punch, did the same thanks, and put that there. What I'm going to show you now is how to pull this over. How to emboss something that's been cut with your with a die cut rather. And I'm also, this one doesn't have it, but I'm going to show you how to cut this out so that you can save the center and then cut the center down and get those layers. It's a good way to save your DSP. If you have a Stampin' Up! Cutter, which I really do love. I had a ton of Fiskars. They're great, but this is way better. Blades last forever. You will have, and I'm going to show this, well, maybe I will show it to you. It is clear under these numbers. And if you want to use this technique, all I did was cut out a 1/4 of an inch piece of paper, the cardstock, so it's a little bit stiffer. And I glued it right underneath here. Now, I imagine the Fiskars are also clear, if I recall. I might be wrong, but the older Fiskars ones were. But if you have a clear, I've got all kinds of things on here. If you have a clear ruler and you want to be able to see it, see how it shows up so much better with a piece of white in there. All I did was put a little glue on there and stuck it right down here. All right, so how did I get this DSP cut out? It's really kind of simple. I wanted it to be a 1/2 inch, and I'm using this side. This paper is 4 1/4, so for a 1/2 inch, I would want to go to, I'm sorry, it's 5 1/4. I would want to go to 4, don't put your blade down, 4, I don't know if you can see it, 4 3/4. So I want to put my blade, there's a little score mark here on the blade. This is not my blade, this is my score. I'm going to move that over. On the blade, you also have, and it's not marked in white, but you can see it pretty clearly when you're like there live in real life. So you put this down at the 1/2 inch mark. And if you want to, if you're afraid it's going to move, go ahead and tape it down just so it doesn't go anywhere. Put this on the 4 3/4 mark. And if you're a little bit afraid that you're not going to get it quite right, make it a little bit like 4 and more than a half, like 4 and 5/8, just if you're worried about it the first time or two. And then pull it down to 1/2. So I'm going to pull this down until my score mark right here lines up at 1/2. I'll lift it up and unstick it. And see, I have a cut there. I'm going to turn it again. I'm putting it on the 1/2 inch mark. I'll tape it one more time. Now again, this is 4, so to get it at 1/2 inch less, I'm going to put it at 3 1/2. Push it down and pull it down to a 1/2 inch. Now, don't be worried if the first time or two that you do this, you don't get it to come apart, because you can use your snips to get that last piece off. But just go ahead and do it on all 4 corners. So I'm going to bring it up to 4 3/4. Make sure I'm on the 1/2 inch mark. Pull it down to 1/2 inch. Pick it up and turn. Again, this is 4, so we're going to go for 3 1/2. You can always like pick it up short and then go back to 3 1/2 if you're more comfortable doing that. Bring it back down to 1/2. And look at that, baby, it fell right out. Now, again, if it sticks in the corners, just take your snips and get it right to the corner. I do this a lot. So, and you've saved all of this. So now, instead of adding a second piece to put on the top, because you put your pebbled path, which I don't have to do because I've cut it out. So I have pebbled path showing through. But to get this little piece, which is a 2 by 3 1/4, I can take this and cut it down. So, and again, make sure you're doing it in portrait. So this is 2 by 3 1/4. You have these little pieces which you can put on the inside if you like. I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't need it anymore. And here you have your perfect size. And then you just center it, and you have just 1 layer, so there's less waste of paper, especially when you're playing with DSP and it's foiled. I'm not going to glue that right now because I want to show you the most important part, I think, is a great technique. If you die cut anything, and it can be a circle or you can punch a circle out, if you want it to be a different color, we have our metallics, which are gold, silver, and copper. And then we have our basics, I think it's called, white, black, and clear. So I'm going to use gold. I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to get my mat out because I'm going to make a mess. I don't have to make a mess, but chances are I will. Oh, here it is. I was going to say, but that would mean I need to find my mat. Okay. And then you need a pair of regular tweezers or reverse tweezers. And I put it kind of in the middle just because there's like a little section there. But first I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to take my Versamark. This is where the mess happens. And I'm just going to keep stamping with Versamark all over. And you can see it sticks, and I'm just going to pull a little piece off. I try to stick to like the same place all the time. So I either grab it, oops, I flipped it. I either grab it like here, which is where I want to hold it right now, or like the top of the T or the S, just so that you're consistent because you're going to do it twice. I'm going to put this over here. And you can do a few of these at a time. Versamark does dry, but it takes a little while. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty well covered. Chances are it's not covered there, but that's okay because we're going to do it again. I'm going to start my very noisy heat tool and let it warm up a little bit. Let me put this down. And this is, I've got it squeezed into my desk. Pull it over here a little bit. It does get pretty hot. And if you've never seen the magic of what happens when you heat emboss, it's really pretty impressive. Let's see. I want to be able to show this at its best. It's going to start changing colors. It's going to actually melt the powder. The first time you use it, if you had 4 or 5 of these, the first time you use it, because it takes a second to heat up, it takes a minute, but if I picked up each one and did the next 4, it would be much quicker. So here I go. It still hasn't started changing yet. Oh, starting to get it around the N, around the K. Let me see, this will show it better. Watch it. Ooh, the S is starting to turn. I'll show you when I'm done. Ooh, it goes fast. once it starts. Okay. And come on, here we go. Ooh, the A was quicker. I don't know if you can see it as it's changing. I'll have to check it out afterwards, but I will show you. I'm going to turn this off because it's, oops, oh, I didn't have it on high. Duh. So there you go. Let me get this out of the way because you can't see it very well. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see the shine. Now, chances are where that thing is, it's not going to be embossed there. I do give it a little second to cool off. You know, you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the end is not quite done right there. So what do? I pick another spot. Oops. I'm actually going to just use my hands. I'm going to go ahead and put some more on that end. And this time I'm going to hold it maybe up here at the S. Stick it back in there. This time I'll put it on high. It'll be very noisy. I do want to move that powder out of the way because otherwise I will just blow that powder everywhere, which I do not want to do. This shouldn't take quite so long because I have it on high this time, I think. Yep. And it's going to heat right up. Ooh, I'll put it down on the glass. I don't know how well that's going to show, but ooh, does that go quick. In there. Ooh. I'll put my, right in there. Woo! All right. Embossing is awesome. Again, I'm not going to touch it. I don't know if you noticed, but when I stabbed it to keep it down from blowing away, I kind of touched it over here, and it made a little mark. But because it's powder and it melts, I just continued to heat emboss it, and it melted back into itself. So let me cover this up before I spill it, because that happens. I'll cover up my Versamark, giving that a little second to cool off too. You can do this over and over and over again over the top of it. It just makes it a little bit thicker. If there's any spot that you feel like isn't thick enough, I kind of like, I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like, what do they call it? Hammered metal, as opposed to it being thicker where I redid it in the middle. I kind of like that look. So I'm okay with that. And then for this thanks, not this one, for this thanks, this is a 1-inch piece that I put, and I just put it, actually, I mean, you could do it without that as well, but I just went ahead. I put dimensionals on the 1-inch piece going across, and then put the thanks flat on there. So it looks like this, although I didn't do the same background. But I wanted to show you how to cut out the paper, save your paper. Look what you can do with your die cuts and punches. Any of them can be heat embossed with any color that we have, the 6 different colors, and it looks very different than the wild wheat, which is kind of the color in the background. I hope this gave you a hint of some ways that you can use all of your supplies to make things step up and look a little bit fancy when you regularly didn't do a whole lot of work. Again, starting next week when our new catalog is out, I'm going to be showing you things like, not this one in particular, but samples like this, which don't have any color other than the different neutrals, so that you can see how a layout is without actually using DSP. But then you can save this, because nobody wants to mail this, right? If you make it like this, you're not going to want to give it, you're going to want to give it away. So I'm making them in different colors, and I will have the dimensions of all of the different pieces And I'm going to show you 2 cards every week to show you different layouts that you can always keep. And then when you're looking for inspiration, you can just flip through this group of papers that you have to figure out, oh, I have DSP and wouldn't that look pretty? Thanks so much for joining me. Think about subscribing. I post once a week on Wednesdays. And again, if you need the project sheets or any other information, you are on YouTube, go ahead and go over to my blog at stampmesilly.com. Thank you. Bye.